Manila by 2020. Then another related programs or another program related to service excellence is our continuous drive to improve on our employee engagement, which is via Breakthrough. So Sam mentioned already earlier that Breakthrough is the employee satisfaction surveys, which is being done every 2 years. So for this year, just to make sure that we still have the right pulses from our associates, we will be launching the quarterly pulse surveys, which I think also Sam mentioned earlier. So that would help reinforce and complement the breakthrough. Then speaking of engagement governance, so for this year we also launched the engagement governance policy. So that's the reason why we didn't approve yet the team fund for the first 2 months of the year. So Sam and I did some calibrations with regards to that, so that we could align all the tower activities to our engagement drivers. This is to ensure that the IM engaged new strategies are deeply embedded not only at the corporate level but also at the tower level efforts. Okay. Then, as part of the operational excellence and continuous improvement, we are also firming up our programs uh, for the innovation agenda, and we will help drive this innovation mindset amongst our associates. So we have two programs for this. So the first is Ignite, which is idea generating network and initiative triage environment, which is actually a DTI program that helps promote idea generation through a set of network or platform. And this initiative supports coming from various sources, like for example, from your SME business partners, from management, and even from the employees themselves, right? So this is done through governance and team engagement. Then the second program would be Mind Palace. So Mind Palace is an HNA award-winning project that looks into the end-to-end business process optimization directed or following the global goal, which is to drive lean in the organizations, and at the same time for the local leadership to uphold the mindset of one operation. So thank you. That's all for me.
Thank you so much. Okay, we're at number 6. Okay, rewards and recognition. Definitely not saving the least for the last. Rewards and recognition is a strong driver. It's something that motivates us to perform. And I just want to mention that James, I don't think he's entered the room yet, right? James was going to be here and he hates to miss this, but he's dealing with some issues with our GIS world. So I do want to make sure that you know that James is here in spirit. He's fully supportive of the program. And he's been messaging me earlier today that he hates he misses, but I'm pitching in for him to talk about rewards and recognition in his absence. But he's here with us in spirit, right? So to that end, let's talk about our commitment to perform and inspire through our engagement driver of rewards and recognition. We want to launch a sustainable strategy, right? So right now we have lots of little missing and moving pieces that kind of move around from year to year for rewards and recognition. And our goal is to do a sustainable strategy and model that is consistent across the entire site when it comes to rewards and recognition. We want to promote a culture of meritocracy, not luck, right? Not happen chance, not by luck of the draw, but we want to make sure that we're rewarding people based upon performance, based upon engagement, based upon their competencies and skills and abilities, and not just ancillary type things. Okay, we talk about we get into conversations about how we should do this, right? And how do we make sure we're looking at meritocracy as a new culture when it comes to rewards, and making sure that more people get recognized in that matter, so that we're driving career growth and performance, so that you perform well, therefore you have a better chance of being rewarded and recognized, right? So it all fits together. And we also want to deliver programs that will influence values and behavior, loyalty, and performance. So some of the programs we will relaunch that's been re-engineered. Some of the things that we'll come up with new over the next few months, and trying to bring more to you guys to reward you for your performance and your abilities. So some of the programs and activities, so we'll have spot recognition program. So this is one that we put some structure around that is currently used in the GIS world. And we'll try to look at ways to incorporate that across the entire site over the next couple of months, and put some parameters where we can all use this type of a program. We, of course, we have our Excellence Awards. So in 2017 at the year party, we moved from having one employee of the year and one leader of the year into having an excellence committee, right? And we want to now, 2018, have even more people based upon scorecards and metrics and performance indicators that we can recognize more and more people. What we would like to do is, over the next couple of years, take money that may be part of kind of luck of the draw raffles and stuff, and reward more people. So maybe instead of 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 people getting recognized at the year event, maybe 100 people can be recognized at the year event, our top performers across all the different organizations, and use money to reward people that have performed and truly that are inspiring to others. We're looking at a more total reward strategy, making sure that we're looking at all the programs that we have, how they contribute to a total reward program. And HR is going to be doing work with leaders and employees of how do you interpret your total rewards package, right? How do you understand it better? How do you compare it to others, and looking at the full value of what it means broken down into a monetary way, so that you truly understand what you do have available to you. We have relaunched, which we'll talk about in a moment, on the Catch Me at My Best, which is going to be a lot better than it was before, with more abilities and capabilities to be recognized, and a way to use that recognition to gain, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then we're going to gamify a lot of our rewards and recognitions, right? So introducing the concept of gamification to make sure that we're using rewards recognition and we're able to communicate that and share it, and actually even be competitive amongst each other, right? There's a certain level of healthy competitiveness that we need, because you want to do better than your friend, right? And you want to be able to compare and say, I have this many stars, how many do you have, right? So, and last but not least, I know that you probably saw the little blue box at the bottom right hand of the screen. We're finally going to launch the IM store, which is going to give all associates abilities based upon different recognition programs to earn points that they can cash in for t-shirts, caps, bags, cups, mugs, all of these types of things, which we will have an online store for, which we'll show you an example of in just a moment. The IM Kudos is the new spot recognition program. So the IM Kudos is a re-engineering of Catch Me at My Best, okay? So it is going to allow people to recognize peer-to-peer, leader to subordinate, subordinate to leader. It allows people to recognize each other. In the past, Catch Me at My Best was completely based on values, right? So we've opened that up And now we're going to be basing it on values and competencies. So it gives you more opportunities to recognize people. The recognition will be published, so everyone will be able to see it. You will be able to receive instant kudos via notifications, and we'll be able to make sure to keep track so we can compare and gamify it so that you can use it. A sample look of one of the tools that we'll be using, which I'll talk about next, is, I'm sorry, go back one. There. So you'll be able to see, like for instance, this associate on the left, let's see, yeah, your left side of the screen, how many points I've earned, right? So different types of recognition type programs, whether it's kudos or other types of things. We want to be able to reward and let you earn points for going to training events, right? So if you go to Emerging Leaders, you're going to get a badge, right, in this gamification process that says, I went to Emerging Leaders, therefore I get this badge, and this badge is worth this many points. I go to this CSR event and I volunteer, you're going to earn points. I go to, I get recognized by a peer, right, for a teamwork initiative, I would get to earn points. You know, all of these things, we're going to try and gamify this so that you can get recognized and rewarded for all engagement drivers, right? So if we have a campaign, so like for instance, once we, Dindo mentioned, I'm still working with my team and we're re-engineering the new clinic to make it even better, because we want it to be an environment where you can bring your dependents into. So we want to gamify that. So the first, 500 employees that will bring, once we get it ready, once it's re-engineered and reconstructed, once the first 500 employees that will bring in their dependents will get certain types of points that they can use in the IM store, things like that, okay? So we're going to use that gamification across all engagement drivers. You'll be able to keep your score where you are. You'll be able to go to one location to recognize other people. It'll be simple, all online. You don't have to send emails. You don't have to fill out forms and things. You just fill it out online and it's all done electronically. And then for leaderboard, we're able to see who are the top scoring groups across Philippines, who is the top givers. So we want to not only see who received the most points, who has the most points to receive, but also who's giving points as well. And we want to reward people for recognizing people as well as being recognized. Okay? And then to use it, here's the store. So these are samples of some of the products that you will be able to purchase in the store. You'll have options to use points. There's bags. So all of this is branded materials, okay? T-shirts, caps, event-specific items, bags, accessories, all of these things that we'll continue to add, but these are real examples of what we're already in the process. So we're working with Tony, our new procurement manager. So it's taking some time. We're accrediting vendors, bringing the orders and things, so it'll take us probably a few more weeks to get everything set up, but this will be launched very soon in the near future to go along with our new rewards and recognition program. Are you excited about that? Yes. You have the option, you can choose colors based upon different products you choose, different sizes. You can use your points. You can pay via salary deduction, or maybe your team is doing a special type of team building and they want to use their call center to purchase t-shirts for the entire team. They can also purchase using call center if it's a business supported purchase, okay? So lots of options for you to be able to do salary deduction, call center, points, etc. Okay? Sound good? Awesome. All right. Next slide. Okay, okay. So the other thing that we want to mention when it comes to the IM Engage strategy and model, when it comes to reward recognition, branding, etc., is we have a new tool that we will launch next month. Let's go. Next month, right? Next month? Yes. I'm so excited. So this has been a work in progress. There's been a lot of effort that's been put into this. Our application and from our BPI team, from a project lead perspective, the HR team, from leaders' feedback, associates' feedback, from the application and business development group. I can't thank you guys, Mike, your team. Can't thank you enough for all the effort you put into this tool. So I want to introduce you guys to a new tool that will be coming out next month called Jive. Dramatic suspense. So it's a short video. I'll kind of throw in some pointers of what you're looking at as we see it live, okay? And again, I should probably, oh, here we go. So introducing Jive. Our one-stop location for communication and engagement strategy for I Am Engaged. From a communication perspective, you'll have one place now. Oh, stop. Hold on. The development team worked so hard on this video, we have to make sure it plays perfectly, right? So sorry about the technical difficulty. We'll get it started in 1 second.
There's just no audio.
Okay.
But you're okay with that?
We'll just do the video without the audio. There's cool music that they put in there, so sorry, you won't get to hear the music, you'll just hear my speech. So we'll start over from the beginning. Okay, guys, this is introducing Jive. As you can see here, one-stop location for all communication and engagement-related activities. So no more emails that will be coming out. Everything going forward will be communicated and archived on the communication part of Jive. This will be your new home page or your landing page on your browser. It will have the I Am Engaged model, all of the drivers represented, and when you click on those, you'll be able to see all the programs and how to get involved in all the programs. All the clubs, all the CSR activities, the calendar of events, everything in one location. Rewards and recognition, this will be how you see how you're doing, how you're being rewarded, how you're getting kudos, how to send kudos, and how to cash in your kudos and your points for merchandise under the reward section. So this is where the home store is, where the I Am store is going to be on the home page under the new Jive site. And as it says here, employee engagement is now being re-engineered and all contained in one tool called Drive. Okay? So lots of information is going to be in there, lots of interactivity. You guys need to use the tool. It's not just a place to go read things. You can actually compete the gamification on there. You can see how other people are doing. You can contact and reward other people. You can get involved and sign up for clubs. You can go in and sign up for volunteer CSR activities. All of this stuff is going to be contained under one site moving forward. Okay? Are you excited? Thank you again to this team up here and all of these folks for making this a reality and making this tool effective, because I think what it does is it allows I Am Engaged strategy now to become real and usable and tangible for everyone. Okay? Thank you for listening to all the details and some of the programs. Still, there's more to come. This is a 3-year strategy, remember? So this is just the initial launch of all the programs related to the 6 engagement drivers. And now, I mean, you want to do the next thing?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you. And are we all still awake? Yes, very good. So we're now going to be down to the next portion of the entire program, which is one of the I would say a milestone. And it's not every day that we get to pick the brains of our leaders about their thoughts on engagement. So first off, let's take all our leaders, as I call them, back on stage. Sam, please take your seat first. They're going to be on a hot seat. Man, AJ, Tito, and June. Can you all give them a round of applause, please? Thank you. Why not? Thank you. All right. So what we'll do is we are going to be asking them some questions about their thoughts on the whole engagement strategy and our human capital strategy. And then we are going to, so this is basically to elaborate and really flesh out what they mentioned earlier about our entire engagement strategy. After which, may I just plug in also, we wanted to realize the promise of technology. So I would like to announce that our Slido board is already up. So if you have any questions and you want to ask our leaders, you can log into slido.com and enter our hashtag for this event, hashtag IamEngaged2018. Key in your questions so it feeds into our Slido board so we can flash them also. Okay? Fair enough? So, leaders, are you all ready?
I'm engaged.
Yeah, you are engaged. Perfect. Yeah, I am engaged. Okay. So, can I sit here? Thank you. So first off, recently, Yana has already announced our strategic direction to become a global business services. And now that we have officially launched I Am Engaged, our human capital strategy to support our 3-year people agenda. What do you personally think about I Am Engaged? I know we talked a lot about it earlier, but personally, what do you think of the whole overall strategy? Who would like to start? Ladies first. Right?
Okay. All right. I think I'm really excited about this really holistic approach to employee engagement. There's a lot of work that has been put in already, but there's still a lot more work to be exerted, of course, to execute on what we presented and more of what our team requires and what we think is best for the organization. But I think this is a step towards the right direction to support the overall strategy of Yana towards the GPS organization that we want to become.
Right. Peter, you wanted to share something.
For the longest time, I think us being Ingram Micro employees, we didn't have an identity. You go out and say, I work for Ingram Micro, and they say, what company is that? right? All of these programs will help us be proud of who we are. It gives us a certain identity as employees of Ingram Micro, right? And which makes it very exciting. You know, it makes you proud to wear this lanyard. It gives you a certain amount of pride to be part of the organization, but more importantly, it gives you that responsibility to be able to represent the organization. So, you know, I've told Yana this, I've told Juna this. I think Sam was sent to us by the heavens to address all of this because back then we were running on our own, trying to launch what we think and what we have defined as engagement. But even I got educated by Sam on what engagement is all about. So very excited, and I think all of us will benefit from it immensely.
Thank you. Sam, do you want to add anything else? Or
I'm a little biased, so
I would imagine.
if you've been into my office anytime in the last 6 months, you'll see a resemblance of this model and the wording and stuff like that. So I just know that. So while I may be the architect who's put it together, I relied on this team a lot for feedback, history, what has worked well, what has not worked well, where have we been since I wasn't here, you know, in the past. So I relied a lot on this team and the partnership of this team to make this something that is tangible now that we can move forward with. And I relied a lot on my engagement team, my HR leadership team and staff, and all the rest of the leaders who have heard bits and pieces in ManCom meetings to try and focus the attention on where it needs to be to focus, so that we can move the needle, so that we now can redefine what engagement really means, and how it impacts us all, and how it's not just pizza and year-end parties and Halloween trick-or-treating, and how it truly is a new cultural definer and something that I hope that once fully recognized is something we can wear as a badge of honor as all employees of Ingram Micro, and we can be proud of who we are because of who and what we represent. So.
Okay, thank you. And really, I'm having a sense of excitement and pride. I've heard a lot about that. And really, those are great insights. But what do you personally think is the most crucial component of the implementation of the entire strategy? Maybe we can start with this side.
We don't need to compete because you can put everything in Ignite if you want.
I know mine should have sat here. To balance the. Can you repeat the question?
What do you think is the most crucial component as we implement the whole strategy?
So engagement, the architect is the starting point, but at the end of the day, it's the employees, right? We're creating all these programs, we're investing on people, on programs. So it's participation. All of this could be, successful and achieve the 3-year vision. We can align this with the GTS transformation because a lot of what is in place or that we put together are transformational. But I think it's the participation, involvement, the feedback, collaboration with everybody, and I think that's the key. At least yun sa atin ni June. June, meron ko may dati ka.
Actually, just copy paste. No, but actually, it is right. It's really more on the participation of the employees, especially the leaders as well. So I remember during the budget season, I'm having a discussion with Sir Junar. So corporate was asking to slash down the budget. So I was always touching on the budget of this program, and Sir Junar would get mad at me and no, don't touch that. Please don't touch that. So now that we have made this initial introduction for this program. I hope the decision of Sir Junard to defend this project, will be fulfilled.
So we have more money for engagement, certainly.
Not exactly.
Just a second. Okay. Anyone from that side? Same.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%, and I think we all agree, this is the architect, this is the program, this is the structure. It's for the people, so we need the people to participate and to be involved and to feel that they're part of it. Because if you can't use it, and if your feedback, either through participation, through feedback, whatever, because if we can't use it, then it's all for nothing. We've invested in nothing. This will to transform us. So I just hope that you will take it, look at it, try it out, be part of it, and try to benefit from it as much as you can. And again, this is not all. There's more to come. We're continuing to grow this over the next 2 years, and so there's just more and more coming with this. And we'll use your feedback and your reactions and your participation to gauge how we invest in those new components.
Okay. And as we talk about implementation, we also talked about we being owners of our own of engagement, right? And we also said that leaders should be championing engagement also. As we talk about that, is there any specific program that you think you'd like to be more involved with, or something that you're most excited about, something that you think would be your favorite as we launch the whole program?
Just like Sam, I'm biased. And I think I've always championed the martial arts part. Not for anything, I think it's a good skill to learn. For instance, Sel, who's our HRBP here, did judo during her college days. Judo is the grandfather of Jiu-Jitsu, really. It's how Jiu-Jitsu started. I was talking to the club president for MMA, and we were planning on doing a demo for it's Women's Month, basic self-defense for women, and I plan to invite one of my teammates who's 21 years old, very innocent-looking lady, but she's a gold medalist in pro jiu-jitsu in Thailand, silver medalist recently in London, represented us in Asian Games, silver medalist. She's part of the jiu-jitsu national team. And if you look at her, she's kind of shy, doesn't want to talk in front of people. And she's probably 30, 40 pounds lighter than me, but she beat the hell out of me every time we roll, right? And hopefully you get to be inspired with, because a lot of times we kind of say, I'm small, I can protect myself. Fran here has done some jiu-jitsu. We know our coach is one and the same. It really is a promotion of not just health, it makes you think, because it's very intriguing sport, but more importantly, it allows you to defend yourself. Hopefully you don't need it, but if you do, you won't be sitting duck, right? Especially nowadays.
Okay, I did say earlier that career growth and development is very close to my heart, so that's a given. But aside from that, I'm very curious to see more of the diversity and inclusion programs. I'd like to see how I can contribute, how I can provide support, specifically the women in the workplace area or group. I think perhaps I have a story or two to share, to other women that may be experiencing some difficulty around that at the moment. I'm also very excited and I would say could relate a lot to programs that express or utilize talents and skills that are probably now being used in the workplace, for example, as you know, singing or dancing or other forms of arts. Because I know how it feels to be able to utilize them, the joy that you get from being able to utilize these other gifts that you have. So I really want to encourage everyone to participate in them so you kind of experience that joy as well.
So probably for me, the one for corporate citizenship, especially the CSR. So it's one thing that I've been planning to do ever since, but ever since I really have so little time. But I'm hoping for this year, I'll be able to join in one of those activities.
I think for me, it's anything related to giving back, and then my age is showing, but it's really whether it's CSR, which we're all passionate about, but really like working with institutions like universities and being able to partner with universities or industry, or even our local talent, right? Helping develop local talent is probably, and we have a lot of those programs in I Am Engaged, so it's something that I'm very much committed and hoping to do. June and I were talking on the side. We also want to be more involved in food tasting moving forward. So that's another corporate social responsibility for all of you.
Okay.
And I would say my response, I would say is twofold. I would say I would have a personal commitment in an area as well as more of a business direction area. Personally, I'm very passionate about making sure our diversity and inclusion driver gets kicked off well, and also that our associate resource groups has participation and representation. As I told Mitchie, I'm going to personally be the executive sponsor for the Pride LGBTQ. I think as a proud gay man myself, it's important for leaders to step up and be present to the employees and make sure that we know that we're represented at all levels of the organization. And so I want to personally be responsible for that particular ARG group, making sure we have representation and proper sponsorship. From a business direction, as your head of HR, I'm going to be now focusing, because I have people like Irene and some other partners that are really working on career growth and development. I have people like my peer here, Maan, who's very passionate about that. I have peers such as Dinda with health and wellness, and with Mitchie's team and Rachel working on those things. But where I want to focus my attention from a business driver perspective is I want to now focus on rewards and recognition. That's my next kind of chamber that I'll be working on this quarter to truly solidify that and pull that together. We've got small steps started, but I really want something a little bit more robust for the Philippines that puts us at a marketable, competitive area when it comes to rewards and recognition and making us a true meritocracy culture. So that's where my focus is going to be.
Thank you. And so when we asked earlier, right, the I Am Engaged champions, who were the champions here again? And are you still
Raise your hand.
Raise your hand. Yeah.
If you're on the other floors, raise your hand.
So we said that they are going to be one of the critical components as we implement the whole strategy. So these are your corporate-wide and tower specific programs will be supporting I Am Engaged. What do you think should be, what do you think would be your message, or what is your message to your champions as they take into this role to become successful as an engagement ambassador?
Is this age before? Okay. First off, I'd like to personally thank you, right? It takes a lot to be at the forefront of such a big program. Second is that don't lose that passion, right? It's and I've always told even my kids, don't get into anything half-hearted, right? You either go with it and be passionate about it 100%, or don't get involved. Don't get involved at all. And it's a big responsibility, right? And you're doing this not as a full-time job, right? You have your full-time job responsibility, which is whichever respective groups you belong to. And on top of that, you're looking after one facet of a program that you need to ensure it's being implemented across your respective groups. So it's really that, be passionate about it, be vocal when it comes to your opinion and what needs to be improved. Get feedback from the groups that you're a part of. It's very important that you give those feedback to us so that we can make adjustments to the program and ensure that it will be successful. Again, this is not us trying to say this is the program, right? At the end of the day, this is a program for you that should work for you. Hence, it's important that you give us feedback on what will work for you.
For me, well, just like what Dindo said, I want to thank you for taking on this additional responsibility. As an expectation or as a message, just communicate. Just let us know, just like what he said as well, communicate. Let us know what's working, let us know what's not working. Of course, our expectation is that you will be our bridge. You will be the bridge of the associates as well, just to make sure that every message, every question, anything that's not clear is clarified. So yeah, if there's anything that you are not supporting or is unclear to you, most likely you will be unable to effectively advocate it to the associates as well, right? So along with the power, there's always responsibility, as they say. But I just want to make sure you understand that we are here to support you. This is not just a call to take on a responsibility. It's a call to be part of a team that want what's best for our associates, that wants what's best for the organization. So you're empowered to suggest, you are empowered to give feedback, no matter how ugly that feedback may be. We'd rather that our attention is called while we're trying to get there, rather than we find out when we've already spent the money, we've already wasted the time and effort, and then we find out, oh, apparently it's not working for them, right? So we just really need that honest feedback and support from you guys. And if there's anything that you need, you just let us know so we can take that into consideration.
Siguro, I just like to thank the people who volunteered. I know, it's people attend events and think, there's a huge effort that goes into those. And what we're actually doing is, and I really like it because it's very ambitious. It's like I said, I used the word transformational earlier, and you are key in helping transform the organization. You are key, anywhere from inclusion to wellness to, the branding, all of you are front and center in those key initiatives for the company. So my only ask is, you've heard that we're very passionate about this, right? We are passionate about all aspects of this and fully support this. Get us involved. And siguro the other thing that you should look at your job, your role is, think of your role as, as people who will recruit other champions. Because the intent here isn't for all of you to do it. So be influencers. And at least the people that I've met from my organization, I share the same message. Influence and engagement is not about the 50 people who or 20 or maybe 5 who volunteered to be the champions engagers, but it's the organization. So we're counting on you, and you have our full support to make it happen, to influence people, to help influence people. So good luck, enjoy the journey, and help us transform the organization. And we'd like to close with Mr. June Meneses.
I say some of the same things. First of all, again, thank you for participating and volunteering to go. I was thinking the same thing Ron said. To those who much has been given, much is to be expected, right? So we do expect a lot of you, but at the same time, we think it's reasonable. And I think that you volunteer for a reason because you have a passion for it, so it's not asking too much. I would say that what I would hope that you do is not just be engaged when there's an activity or event, but have this engager's hat and this champion or this committee member hat on all the time, right? That you're making sure people are aware of what's coming, that it's not just when an email goes out or when a launch is coming or when something new, that you're using this as part of your daily activity. You're reminding your leaders, hey, we should bring up something in our team staff meeting about this or something that's on Jive, or let's use 5 minutes of our staff meeting to look at the CSR calendar to see how we can get volunteered for events or volunteer for different activities. So use it as a badge of honor to do on a daily basis. We have lots of engaged employees. We have some disengaged. I would say use your power to influence the actively disengaged. It's a whole lot easier to help transform a disengaged person to engage, but it's the ones who are actively disengaged, who are actively influencing others to be disengaged. That's where I would hope that you would use your power, right? To say, hey, why are you saying this, right? We have all of this available to us. Are you using it? Are you utilizing it? And if you're not, then how can you go and promote the negative when you're not even participating or giving it a try or giving it a chance, right? So use your power for good, not evil, and try to influence your fellow peers and call them, right? Call them up to the challenge and ask them why they're bringing everyone else in the team down, and make sure that they're aware, because maybe they just don't understand it and they just need someone to help guide them through it. Okay.
Surgeon, you want to add that?
You have said it all. No,
Your angels are waiting.
yeah, actually for my team, I actually forced them, But when I look at the list, it's pretty much what their characteristics are. So what I plan to say today is just enjoy your role, and hopefully, you'll be able to influence other people.
Thank you. You have like a course of associated with you, but I think we were able to set, very good expectations, the things that are coming up and changing. But I'd like us to drill down a little bit in terms of, team-based engagement. Okay? Having an authentic working relationship with your teams built on trust and genuine care is one of the core foundation of effective engagement. How do you go about reaching out to your members and building that authentic relationship? This is, I think, a little bit more personal, but right. So as we start engagement, how do you make sure that every team moving forward will have that authentic relationship?
How do I guess I start with offering an authentic relationship to begin with. As they say, you lead by example, right? So if you expect other people to be a certain way towards you, then that's what you exhibit, that's what you observe. I also believe in vulnerability. I guess what I can share is don't pretend to know it all and have the solution for everything and be the expert in everything, right? I'm comfortable enough to show that there are certain vulnerabilities that come along with who I am, and leverage on the strength that's available to my team to be able to accomplish a task or to be able to accomplish a mission. So yeah, I think as long as you are real about who you are, then it will be easy to also establish that real relationship with your workmates.
I'll add indeed. I always tell my folks, the people I work with, that they have my trust until they lose it. So I don't begin with 0 and build it up to 100. I begin with 100, and it's up to them to take care of that 100 if it becomes 0 eventually. It's a very basic principle that I've practiced all my career. Um, I'm very authentic to the people I work with. A lot of you, there's a few people like Gail and Toniel, Rodney, the likes of Kay, Ron, that I allow myself to be who I am. And they take a lot because I'm a calm person. It's just my personality. I don't curse. When I say my piece, I'm usually very soft-spoken. When there are issues that are arising, I choose my words properly, not to hurt their feelings. I avoid strong words during my conversation with them. I make them realize their mistake by asking why. Right. So this is who I am to these people. You reverse that, then that's who really I am to them. But more than that, I think it's really trying to make them understand your intent. There are a lot of things that you can fake, right? But building personal relationship is not one of them. So, the folks that I've led, even in the past organizations, to my surprise, they reach out and ask for advice, right? And these are the folks that I've given hard time during the time that we're working together. But see, it's very individual in approach, right? You need to know the person that you're establishing relationships with to begin with, for you to be able to find out how to make those clicks. But I'm a calm person.
I trust you are. We have like a lot of associates who are cheering for you, sir.
Lunch mamaya.
And that's authentic relationship.
No, for me, my strategy with my teammates is, I always try to keep an discussion with them, even on their personal life. The same way that I open up to them so that they have a lot of things that they know about me that they could blackmail me into my so but the intention really is trying to be open so that when the time comes in terms of work, those people would also open up to me and be honest with me to tell me what the issues are, other than me finding it out.
Irene, do we have any questions from the floors or from the room?
Yes.
Can we get into that?
Sure.
I'd love to hear some of the things reactions to everything that you've heard today.
We actually have some questions posted on the Slido board, Slido. And I'll probably choose 3 of the questions that were posted. Maybe I'll combine 2 of the questions here. Since you've mentioned IM Store, Sam, is the IM Store accessible outside the network? And will there be plans to add more selections in the IM Store, like gadgets, etc.?
So right now, technical team is within our network, right? So we'll get it working within the network first, and then we'll look at feasibility maybe after we get it going to see if it could be through an app or something like that. But let's kind of get it going in-house first, and let's get some traction, and let's build the tool first, and then let's see what we can do afterwards. So that'll be a kind of a next phase. There's already some phase 2 that is being planned for some functionality. That's going to be adding some additional components to it, and we can look for future abilities. But right now, the answer is it'll be internal, so you have to be within our network. Yes, to answer question number 2, we're going to start out, we have a good selection, quantity, and choices for the first batch of inventory that we're currently sourcing and designing for the IM Store. There will be additional things that will come up. We will hear about things. As part of the, as you guys know, as part of the engagement governance model, part of that is to look for common things that are being requested from a recognition perspective, from a team building perspective. So we'll be looking for trends that will help guide. That's one of the ways that your feedback and your utilization of the governance model will be able to influence what is going to be in the store as well. And we have escalated, so I had a meeting before I went on vacation last week with corporate to say, hey, how can we get either through our perks program or through the IM store some better availabilities and discounts on gadgets and technical equipment like laptops, phones, things like that. So we're trying to get corporate support to see how can we utilize that. Do we need to go through corporate? Can we find local providers? We have IMAsia who is here that we could partner with and hopefully can build some network with. But gadgets and electronics is definitely part of, if it's not IM store, it'll be perks. We're looking at one or two or both of those as being a gadgets advantage for our employees.
Okay, thank you. So something to really watch out for, right? And probably I'll ask each and everyone on this question. While I understand we've shown this on the first few slides during the opening remarks, but someone would like to ask, and maybe we can reinforce, what is your ultimate measure of success for these engagement activities? Anyone who'd like to take a shot in answering?
I think eventually retention is the ultimate measurement. If we're able to trim down, if we're able to increase our retention, so some educated me, instead of talking about attrition, talk about retention, right? Instead of saying we had 75% retention last year, or 22% attrition, you talk about the retention percentage, right? I think the ultimate measure eventually is to get to an industry best retention percentage. I can't think of any other solid measurement other than that.
I think that the achievement of key performance indicators, the SLAs, would be a good evidence of a working engagement program as well. As we know, when work will always be hard, right? But when it's coupled with happiness, joy, and contentment, then it's a lighter burden to carry. So as we're seeing that your performance levels are getting better, are getting higher, then it's a good sign for us that the engagement programs that we have is working.
Part of putting this together has been to put out some very tangible, measurable goals that are tied to the different drivers. So we went into this knowing that, speculative or subjective type targets is not going to work, because we're not going to be able to see, are we actually moving the needle like I talked about earlier. So retention is definitely one. By year 20, end of year 2019 and beginning of year 2020, I set the target that I want us to be at between 85 to 87% annualized retention. That's huge. That's way beyond any benchmark in the industry within the Philippines. But I think we can do it. We're already, over the last 7-8 months, we have been having positive movement in our retention efforts month after month, and I think that we will continue to do that with programs like this, as well as other things that are coming out with Horizon 2020. There is also, I want to see positive movement with our breakthrough survey results and utilization and participation in our results from our pulse surveys. Through our health and wellness driver, we'll be able to decrease utilization and increase participation in other wellness type programs, which we'll be able to measure. With our growth, career growth and development, we want to see an uptick year over year with development hours, with internal movements, with internal career opportunity postings, promotional type programs or whatever. So we want to see that. Rewards and recognition, which is all about performance. We want to see measurable improvements with who we're recognizing, how many people we're recognizing, how are we doing? Are we having to increase our scorecard thresholds year over year because we're performing higher, because an engaged workforce contributes more? And are we increasing our performance, our rewards and recognition? So there are definitely tangible targets for every single driver, as well as the overall strategy, which is a great question. Because we do want to make sure we're not just saying, did we do this well or not? Is it subjective and is it open to interpretation, or do we have data that shows movement?
And I agree with all the metrics, and I think there are, to Sam's point, there are different ways to measure success for each of the drivers. But I think ultimately for me, the other way I would measure it is, if we ran a program, it's the participation of the employees. Those are the things I would look like. And again, this is a 3-year program. So if I were to look at the success of a 3-year program, it's how do we sustain this for 3 years? You know, it's all well and good when we're collecting money for our value, but you know, how do we create sustainable programs, for example, around CSR? So and how do we get people more engaged, not the same 50 people I see on pictures, but really bring it down to the associates and you know, make the associates feel that they're a part of all these drivers. So the metrics are very important, and we will actually challenge ourselves to achieve those metrics, but it's also where, you know, we should also look at it as participation in all of this, more inclusion, more people getting rewarded, all of that. I like the tire when I didn't notice that. I'm glad you dressed up for this event. Apparently we didn't.
Yeah, I think I would just add one other thing, because we do talk about tangible measures. We do talk about the participation and efforts. But the other thing that's going to be hard, but I think that we'll be able to tell it over time, is have we re-identified ourselves as a company? And has our culture changed? And has our brand and pride changed? Because I think if we do this well, the way I think we can, given the talent we have in our organization and the passion, I think in a year or so we'll carry ourselves differently, right? I think who we stand for, and the fact that maybe now we're not really known in the market as Ingram Micro as a brand. Hopefully with these types of programs we will be, and we'll carry ourselves a little bit different, a little bit, you know, our head goes up a little bit higher, a little bit more proud, and we have who we represent and what we represent. And I think we'll be able to tell that in our kind of heart and soul. It may not show up on a graph or a Gantt chart or a spreadsheet or something, but I think that we'll be able to tell that as a family of individuals together, working together. So that's my other thing. From a softer side, I would like to see us morph into something better.
Happy days. Okay. And I guess Sam, this question is directed to you or Lindo. As we drive health and wellness, are we reviving the inter-tower sports, fest, or intramurals?
Specifically for that, so I think you've probably seen some of the communications already. So what we have done for 2018 is we have taken out the one-day sports fest event and the intra-tower, and we have invested our efforts into the Olympics, right? One of the things that we want to, especially with right now with all the changes, our towers are looking different than how they did before, right? And so we're trying to become more one Ingram Micro. So having intra-tower competitions, those towers don't look the same in 1 month as they did 2 months ago, right? So that's one thing. Number two, we want to make sure that people are engaged more as one Ingram Micro versus individual towers. and we wanted to make sure that we're investing our money in something that's more sustainable so that more people can be involved in it, such as the Olympics, which is several months versus just one or two type of events. The second thing is we have put more effort into the clubs for some of the more sports-based activities, such as soccer or football, the basketball, the esports, and things like that, to bolster some of the other activities that may have taken place in the past. So that's how I would reposition it. It's not that we're going to do away with it, but we're just reformatting it and making it a little bit more inclusive and bigger in scope.
Okay, great. MMA? Yes. And I guess just for the benefit of those who are in operations, as the last question for this panel discussion, what is your call to action? What's your message to your respective teams now that we have launched I Am Engaged and that we're trying to align, we're actually aligning all our pursuits towards workplace excellence? Now we get to hear from all the leaders on this question.
Juno, sorry. So what's your call to action to your team?
Well, probably, as a leader, I'll be more supportive to my staff and would encourage them, to join these different activities that we're planning to do for the company. So really, just having a fun time, doing these engagement activities with all the peoples and with all our, team.
Just participate, embrace it. We're doing this for you. These are big investment, and then June said earlier, Junar and Sam fought to keep the budget. Participate.
You are required to support. So yeah, let's support, let's participate. Let's use the right channels for our opinion or for our feedback, because I know we are all very opinionated people. It just so happens that sometimes the opinion does not fall in the right ears. So let's make sure they go where they need to so that they are used effectively. We want a better organization. It's up to us to make that happen.
Personally, I'll commit myself to supporting the program, and I will encourage the team members to do the same. Again, programs are only as good as the people that supports the program, right? And some can come up with brilliant ideas and brilliant items. If we as leaders don't support them and don't encourage our folks to be engaged and support the programs, then we would have wasted a lot of brain cells coming up with these programs. The budget that were allotted to the program, then for sure it will fail, right? So it's a lot of commitment from us individually, so that collectively, making sure that the program will work.
And I would echo most of the same things. Just give it a chance, participate. You don't have to join everything all at one time, right? Take steps, get involved in one little thing at a time, right? And then when you get some traction, then get involved in the next thing, right? The next club, the next volunteer activity, the next committee, and just you can't be expected to just go in full-fledged for everything at one time. So take your time. There's plenty to go around. We have 2,600 employees. There's a lot to share. Okay. How I would do that is from my HR overall. I just want to again to continue to inspire people to participate and to be involved. As the leader of the HR team, one of the things I will have my team is to participate. A lot of times my team is so engaged and responsible in executing and organizing that sometimes we forget that we also need to be recipients of these programs as well, because sometimes we're too busy overseeing them, right? And so my challenge to my HR team is that that while we're doing everything we can to execute and try to flawlessly implement these programs and to build and improve, we also take time for ourselves, and then we participate in these programs. And because my team needs to be engaged just like everyone else does, right? And so I need you guys to be part of the programs as well. And so I think that's the last question. Right?
That's correct. And I guess we'd like to thank all the leaders. Can we all give them a round of applause, please? Thank you very much. And it has been a very good discussion. Thank you for giving us the direction, call to action, as well as how we are going to move forward in being engaged and being more, performing better at the workplace, and what we call workplace excellence. So I now turn it over to Sam, who will be giving us the closing remarks.
Okay, just real quick, and I know we have things that we need to do, but again, I want to thank my peers at the Exicom team for being with me today. James is here in spirit with no sleep, trying to keep our network and everything running. Junar, who is out on PTO today, I asked him a couple weeks ago when I knew he wasn't going to be in Manila this week. I said, do you want us to postpone and reschedule? He said, no, we worked too hard. Let's go forward with the launch. The Excom team will be able to support this. But even though he's not here, he's very much supportive and is going to do everything he can to drive the I Am Engaged strategy as well. We do have one last announcement for everyone. As official launch of such a critical program, all employees across all floors, across all towers, next week is going to be getting a really nice acrylic keychain with the I Am Engaged logo, so that you can have this with you. You can put your locker keys, your desk keys, your car keys, whatever you want. It looks similar to this, so it'll have the I Am Engaged logo on it. And so those will be distributed next week, as soon as we get them in, okay? So I do want to thank personally my engagement team, so Richie and Kish and Myron and Marvin and everybody else, Den, who's all been very instrumental in pulling all this together, for listening to my countless hours of pontification of thought and theory and ideas and structure and wordsmithing and all those things. So I appreciate your patience and you being able to keep up with all of this, because I know that they have put tons and tons of effort into this. For the applications and development team for Jive, you've been so good and so open with feedback. For the project management team, for the leadership team in Mancom for giving feedback all these months to help drive this strategy and to help shape it into what it is today. And then for the rest of my HR team who have championed different elements of this program. So thank you guys for all that you continue to do for this and to keep this alive. And last but not least, I just want to thank the associates themselves, because again, you're the reason that this is happening, okay? This is all for you. If it doesn't benefit you, then we've done all of this for nothing, okay? So this is for you. It's a gift. We've had, I sent a note to Mancom. We've had a few months where we've had lots of change initiatives. We've had AYOLOs, what's going on with the company. We've had things in the press with HNA that have scared us. And so we've had so many things that have caused us to kind of like step back and say, wow, is this where I want to be? I hope this is proof this is where you should be, okay? And that this gives you some beam of light with all the change that has been happening, all the change that continues to happen, to say, you know what? I am where I should be, and there is investment that's going to be made toward me, and this is a place that hopefully you'll feel that you're being taken care of, okay? So my thanks to you. You'll hear more about these programs as they launch and as we formalize. You'll get your keychains next week, and I think we have food, right? So we have food in the back of the room in different areas or whatever. So please grab a snack before you leave. And again, my appreciation to all of you. Thank you.